Hi, Mark here from newhometricks.com, and welcome to the first video that I'm doing about smart lighting. Now, I've been doing a little bit of reading around at various different ways that I could do this, and there seems to be two broad approaches. One is to go with a proprietary system, and the other is a more standards-based approach. With proprietary systems, you're basically going with smart light bulbs. You can actually replace your existing light bulbs with smart connected light bulbs, and you have smart lighting. That means you don't need to do any wiring, you don't need to do any special installation work. It's pretty plug and play. You might need some sort of controller to actually control all of the smart lights in your house, but that's about the most that you'd ever need to add beyond the actual connected bulbs themselves. You can do some pretty sophisticated stuff with the smart light bulbs. You can change colour temperature, adjust the brightness. There's all sorts of different things that you can do. But the only downside that you might find there is that you're going to be locked into a particular system. Once you've started with a particular brand of smart lighting, you're probably going to need to stick with them for any additional bulbs and any expansion that you install in your house. The standards-based approach can allow you to use your existing light switches. So for example, Z-Wave. Z-Wave is one of the wireless smart home protocols that's out there. You can get these little Z-Wave modules that you can install into your light switch, which will be more common in the United States, or up in the light fitting, which would be more common in the UK. We have slightly different wiring approaches for lighting. And using that kind of approach, you can stick with your existing light bulbs and your existing light switches with a proprietary-based approach like this. Even if you turn the lights off at the wall, you flick the switch to off, you can still turn the lights back on again using maybe your smartphone, for example. Whereas you can't do that with the proprietary systems. If you switch the lights off, you've cut power to the bulb. You can't turn it back on again until you flick the switch. So there's different strengths and weaknesses to these systems. Of course, with the standards-based approach, you're going to have to do a little bit of installation work, and if you're not comfortable with that, you should always get an electrician to do that for you. But nevertheless, there can be a few advantages to that, and some people might be attracted to the approach of sticking with regular ordinary light bulbs that they can just buy at any shop. The route that I've decided to take is to go with a proprietary system, because I like the idea of that added sophistication of having colour changing, being able to change the colour temperature, adjust lighting presets with a lot of flexibility there. That's what I'd like to go for. So I'm going to go with a proprietary system. I looked at a lot of different systems that are out there, and I managed to whittle it down to two. The two that I looked at was Philips Hue, which you can't really get away from. Philips Hue is one of the biggest names in smart lighting out there, so it's certainly worth looking at. And the other one is LifX, which is a slightly different system. They both have different approaches and they both have different strengths and weaknesses. Philips Hue is a controller-based system, so you get a little controller that you install called the Philips Hue Bridge, and that can control up to 50 lights, which sounds like a lot, but we did have a bit of a count round in our house and we figured that we might be getting close to 50 if we installed all the lights that we thought we would, and added a few extra as well in areas where I thought that we might end up with a few extra lights being plugged in. LifX doesn't have any kind of particular limit because it doesn't have any kind of a bridge at all that it uses. It uses your wireless network. So I guess the only limit there would be how many devices your wireless can support, which is going to be down to how good your Wi-Fi is. They don't have as broad a range as Philips Hue. Philips Hue have a very broad range of products. There's light bulbs, there's fully integrated lamps, all-in-one light fittings, LED strips, wireless light switches, motion sensors. There's a very broad range of products. LifX is a much smaller range of products. They primarily focus just on light bulbs and some LED light strips. Some of our light bulbs have slightly more impressive specs than some of the Philips Hue bulbs, in terms of brightness, for example, but I guess that's something that you'd want to look at and see whether or not the bulbs are going to be bright enough for you or not. They don't have any kind of smart light switches in the LifX range, but they do recommend third-party products that you might want to consider. So, as I say, strengths and weaknesses to both approaches, but what I felt I wanted to go for was Philips Hue. Primarily because I like the broad range of products that are available from Philips. They've got a very broad range, they seem to be adding more products on a regular basis, so I'm attracted to that. I like that approach. I like the idea of having a system that's got a broad range of products, that I can just choose something from within that range for whichever room I'm installing smart lighting into. So that's what I like about that. I'm going to start in the living room, so I'm going to get some smart lighting, smart light bulbs from Philips Hue and the relevant controller, the Philips Hue bridge. We're going to get hold of that, and so the next video that I'm going to do is going to be an unboxing and hopefully a setup video as well. So that's what we're going to go with. If you've got your own thoughts on this, I'd love to hear from them in the comments. If you've got any feedback, any ideas for what you'd like me to explore, let me know about that as well. But in the meantime, I've also written up a companion blog post, as I did with the last video, to explain a little bit more about my thought process around this and how we've come to the decisions that I've come to. So if you want to have a read up of that, the link to that is in the description. You can also check out the website, newhometricks.com. Follow us on Twitter and please subscribe. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching.